And welcome back to the Constitutionals Podcast. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is a premier podcast for the website, cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. It's all on a friggin' loop at this point. I just have a button that plays that. Let me just adjust the mic so you can see my face. A beautiful, bright, shining face. He says he looks only into the monitor and not in front of the camera or the other camera. Hey, everybody, welcome back. If you're still listening to this show, this is episode 148. If you're still listening to this show at this point, why? There's other things you can do with your time, such as not, or not even watch this show. Not even, I wonder if the GoPro is off center. It looks off center. I want to adjust it. All right, that was very unprofessional of me. Here we are, doing another episode. God forbid that this show ends at some point. I mean, God forbid. Really. Truly. There's a different camera angle if you're watching the video on youtube.com/cpluscomedy. You can see that the DSLR is a little bit closer to me. I set it up this way, not on purpose. And it looks better. The lighting is great. I might have to do a lot. It's very cool lighting, everything. Why does my voice sound like this? Maybe it's the coronavirus. That's what we're talking about today, is the coronavirus, and that's not a joke. This week's news time was about the coronavirus. I was all set to write an episode last Friday about Bob Iger stepping down from his duties at Disney. Maybe I should just turn myself up. Nope, that didn't help. That did not help my voice. I was all. I'll tell you that in a second. Hold on. I was all set to write this episode about Bob Iger stepping down, and then this new guy, Bob Chapek, coming in and taking over Bob's CEO job. Chapek was a guy. They're both named Bob. Chapek is a guy who was in charge of the Disney theme parks, and I assume that Disney saw this guy. You know, like his theme parks happen to be excelling, like for the past couple of years. So I assume they saw this guy and they thought, I mean, the theme parks are kind of like the movies and the shows. Let's give it our all. And so I was going to write that. It was like 1:32 o'clock last Friday. Then I get an email. I check my email for C Plus Comedy, see that there's a crap ton of coronavirus. Like, things were being canceled because of the coronavirus. So I said, like entertainment things. So I go, you know what? Why don't I just make an episode about the coronavirus? And I did. And it happened to be a good episode. Lots of things are getting canceled. I'm checking my Instagram because I do want to see. I did add the hashtag coronavirus to the post, so I want to see if it got any views. No, not that many. Okay, so anyway, there's an episode of the News Time about the coronavirus and how it pertains to the entertainment industry, because South by Southwest, a lot of things are dropping out. Events are being canceled. Google's I.O. was canceled. Apple's March event was canceled. Well, we don't know. I don't know about Apple. I don't know. Anyway, a lot of things are being canceled, and a lot of companies are pulling out. A lot of companies are doing the non-essential travel. In fact, today, for the EW Scripps company that I work for, they sent out an email that said all non-essential business travel is nixed. They said it a little bit less frank. Excuse me. But travel is bad. For now. And I saw a map today of the, I cleared my mouth off mic and I muted the mic, of where the coronavirus is hit. I think it was on the Wall Street Journal. Excuse me. I saw a map. It wasn't the Wall Street Journal. I think it was the New York Times. Oh, excuse me. $25 per month. I saw a map of where it hit, of where the virus is in the United States. It's in California, obviously. New York, obviously. But then, there's some in Georgia and the Atlanta area. And then I believe it was a father and a son that had caught it. They just came back from Italy. And it's all over. It's like just different spots in the United States. Now, we know this thing's going to spread. We know it's going to spread. It's just a matter of when. And even though China's, output, even though China number of deaths have gone down, this is what we read today, and this isn't a political show. Even though China's numbers have gone down, the deaths have gone down. It's mostly because they've contained it. I saw aerial images of a lot of places, like a lot of public places around China, and like Google, so like some news, WAPO or somebody put together like images of what they used to look like a couple of months ago versus now. Empty. Just places in Beijing, just all over China. Beijing's the only place I know. Beijing's the only place I know in China. It's crazy. Isn't that insane? Now, this thing is... This virus is going all over, the coronavirus, causing COVID-19. And then like a third of Americans apparently have been polled. And they said that a third of Americans are associating Corona beer with this thing. Come on. Although it is great to see the late night hosts talk about something other than presidency and stuff. Speaking of that, Elizabeth Warren dropped out. I was very sad when I learned that. She dropped out, and I teared up at work. I teared up, but I was listening to a comedy podcast, so I couldn't let a tear slide down because I'm just like trying to pay attention to whatever the guys at Never Not Funny are saying, and I'm just, like I'm reading this article, and I can feel the weight of the water on my eyes, and it's like about to drip, and something funny happens, and I start laughing, and then the water just goes right back in. But it's very sad. I watched her give a speech in front of her home with her husband and her dog to all these reporters. Oh, man, she could have. And she hasn't endorsed anybody. So I have a feel. She told Jimmy Kimmel that she knows who she's going to endorse. And she's already spoken to Biden and Sanders campaigns. But I guarantee without a doubt, it's going to be Sanders who she's going to endorse. Because they have the same ideals. He's just a little bit more crazy. She's more mannered, more metered. It'd be wonderful, and again, it's not a political podcast. It'd be wonderful if she just joined his ticket, and obviously I'm going to vote for whoever, but it would be lovely to see them on a ticket together. Because she could be like Veep. It could be Veep. I mean, she's less mean than unless you're Mike Bloomberg, or a billionaire. Period. She's less mean than Julia Louis-Dreyfus and Veep, Selena Kyle, Selena Meyer, Selena Kyle, Batwoman. I was thinking about this the other day, last week. In Batman Arkham City, this is a sequel to Batman Arkham Asylum, the prequel to Arkham Knight, the sequel to Arkham Origins. You can play as Catwoman in the game. You unlock her, you can play as her. And you can go around the city. You can swing her. You can go around the city just like Batman can go around the city. Open world. And in the game, you can hear thugs and henchmen or like whenever you're like near them, and you can hear them in your radio, and they're just talking about Batman. Or they're talking about Joker, or talking about Black Mask, or whoever, or Penguin, whoever. But if you're Catwoman, you're going around the city, and the guys are talking about you. They call her like the B word. They say they hate her. They want to kill her. It's so weird. It's so strange. Just all this animosity is going towards her. Like, why would... Like, geez, I know it's a male-driven game, but oh my gosh. Hey, listen, let's get back to this coronavirus thing. This is from Variety. TV News Scrambles special reports for coronavirus coverage. Brian Steinberg. Now, if you haven't noticed, if you're an avid news watcher or podcast listener, you might have seen a bunch of your news podcasts have episodes dedicated to coronavirus. 1A just uploaded, I love 1A, just uploaded their Today's Show, which is about the coronavirus. Post Reports had one. Up First is always talking about it. They talked about it the past couple of days. What's News? The Daily had one this morning. So everybody, it's pretty much everything I listen to. And what's the other Wall Street Journal one? Crap. This is embarrassing. This is the one I like most out of all of them. This one is called, what is it? No. This is the loosest episode of this stupid freaking show in the world. Oh, it's called The Journal. And The Journal had one as well. So they all had, I just named all my news podcasts. They all have one. But obviously, it is in the best interest of the broadcast news, the ABCs, the CBS evening news, and the NBC nightly news. Best interest of Fox News and CNN and MSNBC to all have these special however long specials, probably an hour long specials talking about the coronavirus, because that's the hot thing right now. We got people in California stacking up on food. People in China, I think there's 300 million, close to 300 million. I think it was kids who can't go to school. Was that doesn't sound right. I want to double check this. But it was, I know I read this on the New York Times that said something along the lines of 300 million kids can't go to school. The article was something like, can we go to school now? Okay. Let's see. When can we go to school? Yes, nearly 300 million children are missing out on school. If you can see that in the camera, because I swear I will not upload this after the fact. 300 million children are missing class. And that's, I guess, around the globe. Because you're going to be quarantined for 2 weeks. I also read another article that it did slightly make me tear up. I'm not saying cry, because I'm not going to say, excuse me, oh my God. I say cry. I'm not going to say cry, because I teared enough full. But it was about a couple of the Americans, they profiled 6 Americans who were trapped on a cruise ship, and then they're allowed to go home. But then they made these lifelong friendships, essentially, even though they only know each other for a couple of weeks. But it's these older people, and so they show some of the text between them. It's a long feature piece on the Times, I believe. I should pull it up, because that is very rude of me not to pull it to mention this, but not to pull it up. Also, I don't even know where it is. Truly, I don't know where it is. But it was very sweet. They showed the text between the guys. It was just them. It was them asking every single day, "Hey man, how you feeling today? I'm not doing too well. So and so's in the hospital, and this cough is terrible." And it's just so sad. It's just so sad just to see this going on. But now these, back to the article from Brian at Variety. There's got to be somebody out there who can, because all these lies are going on about this. Like the CDC has to partner up with Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, and anytime you use the hashtag coronavirus, you'll get a prompt on any one of those platforms. Speaking of the hashtag I did for the Twitter, for the video for News Time, a cold open for News Time, it said, I think it said something along the lines of, "Are you looking for information on coronavirus? Please follow this link." It popped up with me because I typed in hashtag coronavirus. It's very important that these things will go on. So tonight, the night this is airing, so this is the night that I'm recording this, CNN on Thursday at 10 p.m. will broadcast what it is calling a global town hall led by Anderson Cooper and Dr. Sanjay Gupta, the most renowned person. Doctor. The 2-hour special will feature interviews with health experts who will take questions from members of the studio audience as well as viewers around the world. This is the perfect thing. But 10 o'clock is just such a, and it's 8 o'clock. No, wait, it's 7 o'clock in California time. So I guess it's a good time. ABC News 2020 is going to be doing something. CBS This Morning is going to devote the entire second hour. This is all on Friday. So everybody's throwing something together. And I'm sure if you look on your local news affiliates that they're going to have some type of special event or something. But it's very important that we get this stuff right. Because misinformation is obviously easily spread. If you look at the 2016 election, and misinformation is easily spread, especially because we have these things like Twitter. You can just read a headline and it's wrong, and it's coming from ploopplop.org.biz, not even .org, .biz. So it's very important that cable news, local news, broadcast, cable news and broadcast news. You don't need local news. Local news is garbage. Just read. Cable news and broadcast news are able to get some stuff out. Get the things out about coronavirus. I just got a push. I believe it was from New York Times or Washington Post that said to my phone that said something along the lines of, "How was ESPN?" I have ESPN in the living room. Anyway, it said something along the lines of, when some people get the coronavirus, it's just like a cold, and it can go away like a cold. But, obviously it can lead to this disease called COVID-19. So, listen, we're going to take a break, and I want for this to get too serious. This is a show about entertainment news. I promise we'll start talking entertainment news. We'll be back. 3, 2, 1. And welcome back to the show, world. This is part 2 of the Constitutionalist Podcast. If you're just joining us. I should have included this story with the last part. But South by Southwest cancellations. Warner Media is the latest to pull out of the storied film festival. Independent film festival. Apple pulled out. Twitter and Facebook pulled out. Man, I wonder if these things... So Google announced that since it's not doing the Google I/O in this month, that it's just going to release the stuff, everything it was going to talk about. E3 is not affected, even though some publishers aren't going. But Sony and Microsoft weren't going anyway, and Nintendo was not going to show up. Regardless, Jeff Keighley wasn't going to show up before he started this. He started this for everybody. I wonder if any of these are going to be rescheduled, because DC pulled out of Emerald City Comic Con, which is not an important Comic Con, but it is one of the biggest Comic Cons, or one of the more well-known Comic Cons. So I wonder if at any point, when this stretches into the summer, because it's obviously going to stretch into summer, because it's going to take 12 to 18 months to create a vaccine, if and when any of these events are going to be rescheduled. Like, if South by Southwest lost some of the biggest things. So are they just is everything going to skip a year? Good thing the Oscars already happened. And the Super Bowl. Oh God, the NBA Finals. No. NBA Finals is going to be played in the high school gym. 3 people are allowed to watch it. So there we go. All right, let's move on. ViacomCBS canceled 3 shows on Pop TV. This is very unfortunate. A couple of days ago, we got word that ViacomCBS was going to lay off about 100 employees from Pop. This is, it's really funny. This is not funny at all. This is not very interesting. But sometimes I'll see it, or I'll see like a headline or something in my email inbox, and then I'll go, that'll be good to talk about on the show, because I do play the show. I do play the show sometimes, most of the time, all the time. So I go, that'd be good to talk on the show. But then I have like another thought in like half a second. I go, you know what? Never mind. It's too small. I don't want to talk about it. Or if it can build upon a larger story, then I'll take the headline and I'll save it to the Google Docs or whatever. But sometimes I see something and then I do like, never mind, that won't work. But then I'll retain the headline in my head. And then when something related comes to it, which happens on the show a lot, then I'll use it as extra information. Because the headline, I got everything I need in the headline. I'm joking. But the headline, that story can build upon whatever I'm talking about later. So here we go. ViacomCBS is laying off people from Pop TV, which sucks because they didn't give Pop its time. It used to be the TV Guide network. And that's how I started watching Curb Your Enthusiasm, because in the pre-2010s, like 2009, 2008, it got the syndication from HBO for Curb Your Enthusiasm. Obviously, there were edited episodes, but if you remember the TV Guide network, it was literally the TV Guide, but they would show video above the above this the scrolling schedule. So like one day I just turned it on, and for some reason I don't know why, I was very odd. I still am very odd. I turned it on, and Curb Your Enthusiasm was on, so I started watching it. And then they had the syndication rights for like a year or two, and then it just stopped airing. But then I loved Curb Your Enthusiasm. It might have even been 2005. I don't know, but I know in 2008 and 2009 they definitely had it. So it used to be TV Guide Network, and then it turned to Pop TV. I think it was Access too. I don't know. I don't remember. But whatever. So Pop TV is now it's what it can be. Here's what it can be. I do have time to talk about this. Pop TV can, and it should, at this point, be a millennial-driven network. And I hate that word, but this is how I'm going to describe it. A millennial-driven network for young people with a lot of, I don't want to say internet forward, maybe, yeah, internet forward thinking ways. Look at CW. The CW is a marriage between the WB and UPN. And in the past couple of years, they introduced a website where you can watch the shows the next day after they air for free with, commercial breaks. They have a free streaming network. So you can do this for free. You can do this for everything for CWs for free. So you can watch that for free. You can watch other shows that they have the streaming rights for free, and movies and stuff. Then for some of the shows, like Arrow and Flash, 2 weeks after their season finale airs, you can watch on Netflix the entire season. And so CW is, and then CW is also, there's got Riverdale, which is just doing bonanzas, doing bonkers for ratings, and creating all of these superstars on broadcast television with these young, beautiful actors. I have to categorize them. They're very beautiful. If they were ugly, I would say they're ugly too. But and ViacomCBS owns CW. But with Pop, since it's a deep cable network and it's niche, and you can only get it if you have Hulu with live TV, YouTube. I think it's on YouTube. DirecTV, Spectrum. Not all cable providers have it, or online, whatever they're calling Hulu with live TV and YouTube TV, or Sling. But when you have that, and you have shows like Schitt's Creek, which is one of the most beloved shows on TV right now. It's coming to an end. When you pick up shows like One Day at a Time from Netflix, and you have these critically acclaimed shows, and you're not doing anything with them online to show them off, to do the memes, to do the, to just drive young people to your network, then you're not helping yourself. And so Viacom, firing these people, laying off these people, and canceling these 3 shows, which includes Florida Girls, Flack, and Best Intentions, it's just not going to help them. It's not going to help them in any fashion. I watched the pilot episode. As it turns out, I watched the pilot episode of Florida Girls just this past weekend because Lacey Mosley is on it, and she's great. Lacey Mosley is a comedian, and she has been on, Comedy Bang Bang and all these other shows. She has a podcast called Scam Goddess. And so, hearing her for, all these past few months, I just thought, finally, I'll just check out, Schitt's Creek's coming to an end. I'll check out Florida Girls. Florida Girls is great. The pilot was fun. Also created by Laura Chin, I believe, whose Instagram I looked at this morning. I felt like I needed to tell you that. So these shows have been canceled. Schitt's Creek's coming to an end on April 7th. And I believe One Day at a Time starts in April as well. And then they also have like some A&E show that was going to premiere on the network, but they're mad. Oh, and some of these shows were about to premiere, or they're in production. Florida Girls is in the midst of making season 2 right now, as is Best Intentions season 1, and then Flack was going to premiere just next week, March 13th. There's still two pilots that are, or there's one pilot that's still in the running to be made from Rachel Bloom and oh my gosh, I can picture her voice in my head, but I cannot remember. Betsy Sidaro. Here we go. I didn't have to click on the thing. The decision to shut down the 3 shows comes just a few. Oh, this is from The Hollywood Reporter, written by Rick Porter. ViacomCBS shuts down 3 pop TV series. The decision to shut down the 3 shows comes just days after a round of layoffs at a niche cable network, spurred by the ongoing consolidation of ViacomCBS. Pop has been a part of Showtime now. Okay, blah blah blah. So there's nothing. I just kind of just said everything. So it's a shame that this is happening, and it should not be. And I would think that if I were ViacomCBS, I would put some money into this network. I would make it just like the CW, but still be a cable offering. I would make it just like the CW, or start putting shows from Pop. You know, Schitt's Creek is on CW TV, the CW app, so you can watch Schitt's Creek on the app. You can watch the entire show, just except for the new season. It just doesn't make sense that they're not doing this with their other shows, like Vice on TV. Viceland changed its name to Vice on TV, which I did not know. And also, I think Vice News Tonight starts on Viceland, I believe, yesterday at the time of this recording, which is so Wednesday. Whatever. Who knows? Okay. I mean, I just think that you should be smarter about this. Comedy Central, like what they do with Comedy Central, what Viacom does with Comedy Central, with their memes and their re-uploading of the Key and Peele sketches, you know, deleting the old ones they uploaded and then uploading them again as they pertain to the consensus, to the zeitgeist, excuse me. I think that's good, but they're not doing the same. They're not giving the same amount of attention to literally anything else. It's all Key and Peele, some other Comedy Central stuff, Daily Show, obviously, but nothing else. They're not doing it for shows on VH1 or shows on Bravo or shows on BET or shows on MTV. And this could also be me, because I don't check social media, but this could also be me not being privy to this stuff because I don't follow this stuff. But if I can see that they're doing it on YouTube and I don't subscribe to the Comedy Central channel on YouTube, then there's a problem. Okay, this last one comes from BuzzFeed. Shocking, I know. I read a BuzzFeed. This is from David Mack. Did Nancy Cartwright from The Simpsons watch her Instagram story? There's likely a reason why. So if you put on an Instagram story and you have a couple hundred, or maybe even if you're lucky enough, a couple thousand people following you, but you're not one of those people that follows a couple 100,000 people just to get those follows back, then sometimes, periodically, you could have somebody with a blue check mark who's verified. That's the person who's verified. Who viewed your whatchamacallit, your story. This happens. Unless you're me and you tag the person in there and they view it, which they do. But seriously, if you don't tag them or anything, sometimes you can see somebody with the blue check mark. And so this is telling stories of people dating back as far as this past fall, getting views from Nancy Cartwright's Instagram account, which did not have that many followers, and then ballooned up to a bunch of followers because people think like, oh, this famous person, oh, Bart Simpson's voice, oh my gosh, she's liking this, and there's a bunch of tweets and stuff like that. People going, oh my gosh, Nancy Cartwright is watching this, Nancy Cartwright is watching that, all the Instagram stories. Turns out, and I truly wish that, what's this guy's name? Let me go back up. David Mack. I understand that this might be a featured type thing. BuzzFeed should change its name. I understand, or at least change BuzzFeed News to B News, or The Feed. It's from Attack of the Show. But half of the piece is about people reacting to the view. And then the other half, because you cussed out or come up short. Yeah, dig this now, even though. Oh my gosh. Is that Miss Oh, Roses? That's Roses. From the Outkast song Roses. So, as it turns out, there are companies that famous people hire to handle their social media. Who knew, right? Eminem doesn't control his Twitter. But there are famous people who hire these companies to basically get the word out about. Half of this article is screenshots. This is insane. To get the word out about them. So, this Instagram viewing thing is a part of a growth campaign by her media team, social media team. And most famous people do this. Not every single one. In October, Slate wrote a big piece about people encountering stranger influencers, suddenly viewing their stories, calling it a, quote, mass story viewing strategy. The accounts use bots to make it appear as if they are suddenly taking an interest in you. Much like you might click on a private meme account when a friend sends you a link, if you notice a strange person looking at your story, let alone a strange celebrity, you're probably going to be inclined to check them out. The Slate piece noted the trend was growing in popularity in English-speaking countries, with several apps now offering the service for a fee, but seemed to suggest it was a strategy mostly for wannabe influencers. And so we saw that, according to CrowdTangle, Nancy's followers jumped from 65,000 to almost 85,000 as of Wednesday. Wow. From January until now. Jumped a whole bunch. Whoa, hold on. Nancy Cartwright posted something about this. So I noticed that some of you have noticed me noticing you on Instagram. I just want to say that, yes, I do have a team that helps me find people on social media who love The Simpsons or Rugrats or who have similar interests as me, like animation and voice acting. They keep me updated, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so it's nothing important. So yeah, it's a team that does this. Don't freak out, obviously. I would love for her to view my stuff. I talk about The Simpsons all the time. I don't know. I don't. I mean, I do. I watch it every single night, which is true. I watch it every single day. At least one episode. And if I can't fall asleep, I watch two. So yeah, of course. Obviously, I mean, people buy these things. Hey, listen, if you like what you heard here, head on over to the website, cpluscomedy.com, where we've got interviews with your favorite comedians. A couple I have not posted yet. I will do that soon. Last one I did was a portfolio on Jimmy Pardo, Never Not Funny. You can watch the video version of the show on youtube.com/cpluscomedy, where you can watch News Time as well, which is our premier news show. Weekly news show. We take one story in the entertainment world, and we make it good. Then you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram @cpluscomedy. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram @ChadBlackWhite. Like us on Facebook. Rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. And we'll see you again next time.